Did Blake Lively try to extort Taylor Swift? Blake was trying to extort.
Blake Lively is facing a complete breakdown after Taylor Swift revealed deeply troubling facts about her during live television broadcast.
This is nuts. This is a new document coming in from Brian Friedman just literally minutes ago.
Taylor's team handled the narrative until now, but mounting extortion claims crossed a line, pushing Taylor to speak publicly herself. This reads like an extortion attempt accusation, which is genuinely awful. It turns out Blake wasn't merely a jealous ex-bestie. She's played the victim card far too long, and now everything is finally crashing down hard.
Swift released a statement of support for Miss Lively, intimating that if Miss Swift refused to do so, private text messages of a personal nature in Miss Lively's possession would be released.
According to court filings, Blake's lawyer Michael Gottlieb contacted Taylor's legal team and delivered a threat, stating unless Taylor released a public statement backing Blake, private personal text messages would ultimately be leaked publicly.
Fair parties counsel are further informed and believe that a representative of Miss Swift addressed these inappropriate and apparently extortionate threats in at least one written communication transmitted to Mr. Gottlieb.
The demand did not end there. The letter further alleged Blake asked Taylor to erase their message history, a step that, if accurate, constitutes both witness tampering and evidence destruction. Taylor's team reportedly replied in writing, denouncing the threats and declining to comply. Essentially, they are attempting to subpoena Taylor Swift. That exchange now sits at the center of the subpoena filed by Baldwin's legal team. It's no longer mere speculation. The allegation is supported by sworn court filings and is currently treated as a federal discovery issue. What makes this far more explosive is how Friedman handled it.
Specifically, the Wayfair Parties Council are informed and believe, based on information from a source who is highly likely to have reliable information, that Miss Lively requested that Taylor Swift delete their text messages.
He didn't release this detail at a press conference or leak it via an anonymous source. He waited, letting Blake and Ryan Reynolds submit their joint motion to quash Taylor's subpoena, and only afterward filed the letter openly in court, fully aware it would enter the public record. This wasn't a leak at all. It was a calculated trap by design.
Michael Gottlieb of Wilk Farr, counsel for the Lively defendants, contacted a Venable attorney, that's Taylor Swift's company, who represents Miss Swift, and demanded that Miss Swift release a statement of support for Miss Lively.
That tactic didn't merely reveal Blake's alleged effort to influence Taylor. It reshaped the lawsuit's entire story. Until then, Blake had framed herself as the victim, a woman targeted by a smear campaign and emotionally harmed by Baldwin's conduct throughout the proceedings.
Those communications that the Wayfair parties seek to obtain by way of subpoena, as they would evidence an attempt to intimidate and coerce a perceived witness in this.
But now that narrative shows cracks. If she was coercing a third party, particularly someone as high-profile as Taylor Swift, to shield her, the basis of her legal case starts to unravel entirely.
Will oppose the motion to squash, etc. Ron, this isn't something you just do willy.
Meanwhile, Taylor has remained publicly silent, but her actions speak volumes. Her legal team is working quietly behind the scenes to limit exposure, engaging in active discussions with Friedman's team, likely aiming to shield Taylor from a full deposition.
This implies they have a very reliable source and authority, no? That Blake was trying to
At the same time, her refusal to publicly back Blake, even when directly mentioned, speaks volumes. For someone renowned for loyalty to close friends, Taylor's silence appears less like neutrality and more like subtle defiance.
You have allegations that there's witness tampering or deletion of text messages, which what we call spoliation of evidence. That is a red flag.
Everything about this situation is being reconsidered through the lens of this legal letter. What previously seemed like quiet distance now appears as calculated self-preservation. What once seemed like silence now reads as refusal, a refusal to be manipulated, exploited, or pulled into a legal fight under false pretenses.
If you get a declaration from somebody, either a mole in Taylor Swift's camp, or a communication that was from Baldoni and Baldoni to Friedman, they've probably already made the determination they're going to share that with the judge.
Taylor Swift didn't reveal Blake Lively through a press release or courtroom statement. She did it through steady, intentional disengagement. Now, with the legal evidence public, that disengagement is recognized for what it truly was, the quiet breakdown of a friendship rooted in one-sided loyalty.
To satisfy the judge's need to be like, listen, this is a pretty big allegation. You have to support it somehow, other than I just have to take your word for it before I let you have a shot at examining Taylor Swift directly.
The moment Taylor Swift's name appeared in the court filings, her legal team at Reynolds LLP sprang into action. Sources familiar with the May 2025 filings report that Taylor was officially subpoenaed in connection with Justin Baldoni's countersuit against Blake Lively. Within 48 hours, her attorneys had already filed a motion to quash. Reynolds wasn't merely negotiating, they were scrambling because what began as a lawsuit between co-stars had escalated into a federal-level tug-of-war, with one of the world's biggest pop stars caught squarely in the middle.
Version where Blake can then blame this Michael guy. Well, they were acting without my interest. I mean, they are the attorneys for Blake. Is that something that she can then claim? Well, I didn't know they were doing this.
She could claim it. Whether or not it's believable or has any effect is another.
Taylor's involvement wasn't voluntary. She never chose to enter the court narrative. It was Blake Lively's own legal team that created the opening, and now they're the ones trying to close it. Just days after Taylor's subpoena went public, Blake and Ryan Reynolds jointly sent a letter to the judge requesting that Taylor be excluded from all legal proceedings, arguing that she had no involvement in the events central to Blake's harassment and retaliation claims.
Else where Lively is on the ropes reacting to something that is so devastating, right? She had to react to the faux lawsuit in New York State. Now she has to react to this.
But here's the issue. This directly contradicts Blake's own public statements from her 2024 press tour. In multiple interviews promoting It Ends With Us, Blake repeatedly acknowledged Taylor as a creative contributor.
You explain, the more you're losing, the more complicated it is. Like, yeah, this may have happened, or I have to blame my attorneys, or I have to blame this. It falls flat with regards to the overall narrative.
She stated that Taylor participated in casting decisions, influenced musical choices, and was present on set for key scenes. These weren't vague remarks. They were precise, public, and consistently cited to bolster credibility around the film's production process.
The judge is going to take this really, really seriously and really may put Friedman's team like, listen, you've put this down in writing. Now I want to know why it is that what's the basis for this really big allegation? It's a huge allegation.
Now, her team insists that Taylor had no relevant knowledge, a reversal so sudden that the judge reportedly questioned its consistency during closed session hearings in late April.
Stakes are so high. I think the judge is going to be very, very focused and want to do the right thing, but do it in a very transparent way before making a final decision, which will, I think, require telling Friedman, you need to make a showing, a factual evidentiary showing of how it is you even come to this conclusion.
What truly raised eyebrows wasn't only the contradiction, but the timing. Just one day before Blake's team submitted their motion to protect Taylor, Brian Friedman, Baldwin's attorney, filed a letter accusing Blake of trying to intimidate and manipulate Taylor behind the scenes.
She made this claim, like, what I do is protected, and there's this defense of whether or not it's done in bad faith. If there are text messages talking about suing Baldoni, motivations for suing Baldoni, or doing this initial civil rights complaint, that is directly relevant to Baldoni's defense.
He cited information from a credible source, asserting that Blake requested Taylor to delete their private messages and pressured her to release a public statement of support. The letter was filed in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia under the docket Baldoni versus Lively, and it has now become a key element in the discovery process.
I'm going to be very concerned about these allegations. We'll do one of two things: either make a ruling or ask for a conference and ask directly how the attorneys learn this. Now, do the attorneys have to reveal that? They may not have to under what's called a work product.
This brings us back to the subpoena. Friedman's office clarified that they weren't pursuing a broad deposition. They sought only one thing: evidence of communication between Taylor Swift, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their respective attorneys. The question isn't whether Taylor knew every detail of the dispute, but whether she was used, or worse, deliberately manipulated to distort the narrative.
And obviously, if they get this and prove that, that's a huge win for Justin, no? To show that she's telling parties to delete texts and intimidating them. That changes the whole...
Under Rule 26 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, parties in civil cases can request any documents or testimony relevant to a claim or defense, including third-party communications, if they reveal intent, fraud, or coercion. Taylor's texts, especially those Blake allegedly asked her to delete, fall directly into that category.
Versus the faux or the pretend lawsuit to justify the production of text messages. That's first one, right? And now, like, what is this? Now there's this other thing of trying to suppress evidence. And that would be another huge piece of evidence that the judge can justifiably, if it's, again, appropriately put before the judge, going like, look at Lively's team, look at how they're acting.
As of May 13th, 2025, Taylor's attorneys haven't fully complied, but they have acknowledged holding written communications between Taylor's team and Blake's legal counsel. That acknowledgement alone prompted Baldwin's side to formally oppose the motion to quash. While the judge hasn't ruled yet, the court is now reviewing those documents in camera, privately, in the judge's chambers. If even a single message supports claims of pressure or manipulation, Blake's credibility could suffer a legal blow that might jeopardize her entire lawsuit.
This can have huge repercussions, which is probably, as I'm talking about it, I think the judge will want to have a conference and be like, listen, this is serious what you're alleging. I want to know how you found this out. I don't know if the judge is really entitled.
Even if Taylor never appears in court, the impact is already clear. Publicly, she's said nothing. Legally, her team is cooperating just enough to stay compliant, but reputationally, she's already acted through silence. And just when things couldn't get any messier, the Instagram unfollow occurred.
Who was using it, and more we're seeing that was the case. It's why Travis Kelce clearly unfollowed Ryan on Instagram. There's been a lot.
So yes, on May 9th, 2025, just hours after Taylor's subpoena became public, Travis Kelce unfollowed Ryan Reynolds. It was subtle, no announcement, no statement, but fans noticed immediately. Within 2 hours, screenshots flooded Reddit, TikTok, and fan forums. Unlike the past, when social media moves were often dismissed, this one hit like a sledgehammer.
Why else would he have done such a thing? It's starting to fall in line, and I wonder if Taylor is going to start working with Justin's side to be like, you know what, I'm not getting involved in the drama, but fine, depose me. Let's prove they came after me. At this point, it is what it is. I got to legally oblige.
Travis and Ryan were more than acquaintances. They belonged to the same celebrity social circle, often photographed together at Taylor's concerts, dinners, and games. Ryan even sat beside Travis at the Grammys after-party in February 2024. So, when that digital tie was cut, it wasn't seen as coincidence. It was a signal, and it wasn't subtle either.
And that way people will feel for Taylor. They're not going to be mad at her. Blake will look awful. I mean, is there a version you think that could actually happen if she's really pushed to it legally?
Fans quickly connected it to the subpoena, believing Taylor and Travis had likely seen the blackmail allegations before they became public. The unfollow acted as a preemptive boundary, a clear sign that Taylor was no longer playing along. There were no more supportive retweets, no double dates, no red carpet smiles. Publicly, Taylor was distancing herself from Blake and Ryan, just as her lawyers were handling it privately.
Protective order with regards to, if it's videotaped, it doesn't leave anyone's possession other than the attorneys. It never gets filed without meeting conferring first. But also telling Blake, Swift, listen, you just have to be short, sweet, and without emotion, saying what happened and what these text messages say.
What made it even clearer was the sudden vanishing of PR pieces portraying Blake and Taylor as still close. Just a week earlier, a Page 6 article on May 3, 2025, had claimed they were thick as thieves. But once the legal filings emerged, those stories disappeared entirely. Even Blake's own PR team, which had promoted the sisterhood narrative for over a year, went completely silent.
Taylor Swift's brand is so, almost untouchable and uncorruptible that there's probably a fear that it might get tainted by showing and demonstrating how much she was interacting with Lively.
Taylor, known for meticulously managing her image, didn't issue a denial. She didn't clarify her friendship with Blake, didn't retweet Blake's promotional content, and perhaps most tellingly, didn't post a single word about It Ends With Us, despite allegedly contributing to its music and casting. Now, with her team actively negotiating with Baldwin's attorneys and her name appearing in pending discovery motions, Taylor has been pulled into a narrative she clearly sought to avoid.
Because it's not a normal thing. It's not like, we all had drinks together. Taylor's like, yeah, we had drinks together. This is communications that no one but the two of them would have known about.
By the time Blake Lively filed her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni in February 2025, the central narrative was clear. She was casting herself as the victim. Her legal filing detailed the emotional strain of working with Baldoni as humiliating, anxiety-inducing, and professionally damaging.
We've seen lots of clips of Blake herself saying, well, she was instrumentally involved. We're now seeing TMZ just broke it as well. I love how they're it's weird. Have you noticed this? Because I know you're a celebrity. You go against the celebrities. There are certain outlets who protect the celebrities. And I've noticed TMZ is very light on trying to be too mean against Blake and Ryan. They have to have pretty definitive legal stuff to go against it. Because even then, they're not saying extorted, strong-armed her. It's all written a little lighter. But this is an extortion attempt.
In court documents filed with the Superior Court of California, Blake's team claimed that Baldwin's alleged retaliation campaign had rendered her virtually unemployable, a woman too damaged, too broken to continue her career in the public eye. Yet anyone following the past 2.5 months would ask, where is that broken woman now? While her legal team built a narrative of distress, fear, and career derailment, Blake herself acted in direct contradiction, visible to the media. Between February and May 2025, she attended 6 major red carpets, including the Vanity Fair Oscars afterparty, the Met Gala, and the Time 100 Gala, where she was not only photographed but also honored.
Not on Blake's side, maybe a little bit sort of forced against her will, and Blake was the one who was using it, and more we're seeing that was the case. It's why Travis Kelce clearly unfollowed Ryan on Instagram. There's been a lot of this drama.
On April 25th, Blake was officially named one of Time's 100 most influential people under the Titans category. She gave interviews, posed in multiple designer gowns, and received an honorary feature in Vogue's May issue. Photo agencies like Getty Images, Backgrid, and Shutterstock documented over 270 licensed photos of her from public events during this period, more than any other female celebrity in the same time frame. Her media presence skyrocketed, her outfits trended on TikTok, and her PR team actively scheduled appearances. Yet, in her lawsuit, Blake claimed Baldwin had inflicted irreparable damage on her public image, causing panic attacks and professional blacklisting. These two realities simply cannot coexist before a jury.
Showing this photo, which is so obvious when you look at this, I feel like, does she want to lose this case? Because it makes no sense what she's been doing lately.
In legal terms, this is known as a credibility gap, a measurable distance between what someone claims under oath and what the evidence actually shows, noticed by juries. As legal analyst Emily Rothman explained on a May 2025 segment of Law 360 Today, when a plaintiff alleges emotional trauma and career loss yet is observed thriving in the very industry they claim has rejected them, it undermines their entire emotional distress argument. Rothman added that this visibility gap isn't merely unfortunate, it could be fatal to Blake's overall case strategy.
It says here in this post with all these pictures of Blake Lively's appearances and Ryan Reynolds' appearances lately, saying that Blake Lively claims Justin Baldoni sabotaged her career, causing her emotional distress, humiliation, and anxiety.
The issue isn't whether Blake Lively is allowed to attend events, it's the timing. Between her Time Award, the Amazon Prime promotion for It Ends With Us, and multiple talk show appearances, including Jimmy Fallon on March 8th and Stephen Colbert on April 4th, Blake has been more visible in 2025 than in all of 2023 combined. Media watchdog Buzz Metrics even ranked her the third most talked about actress online in Q2 2025, behind only Zendaya and Jenna Ortega. These figures aren't accidental. They're tracked, sold, and circulated in Hollywood to measure relevance. Right now, they directly undermine her courtroom narrative.
Well, not quite, because in the last 2.5 months, I've seen her more active and celebrated in Hollywood than I have in years, if not ever.
This public rise is particularly damaging because the lawsuit portrays Blake's distress as visible, ongoing, and irreversible. Yet if she's being celebrated by fashion outlets, trending for her red carpet looks, and giving interviews to high-profile journalists, her legal claims seem inconsistent. No jury is going to accept, "I was shattered," while watching footage of her confidently walking past a sea of photographers in custom Versace. They will notice the disconnect, and legal analysts are already pointing it out.
How is she going to prove in court that she suffered from what Justin Baldoni did to her, allegedly did to her through this alleged smear?
Meanwhile, as Blake struggles to uphold her victim narrative, Ryan Reynolds, her husband and legal co-defendant, has emerged as a liability in his own right. And it's not just due to his public defense of her. It's tied to a character named Nice Fool.
Taylor Swift was pushing Deadpool Wolverine. She never did any promo.
According to claims from fans, legal commentators, and even an NYU entertainment law professor during a Reddit AMA on April 30th, Ryan may have used Justin Baldoni's likeness and personality as inspiration for the character Nice Fool in the Deadpool vs. Wolverine teaser campaign.
Taylor Swift was pushing Deadpool Wolverine on her Instagram in an Instagram post, even showing people where they could buy tickets for Deadpool Wolverine, and apparently she had no involvement in the movie.
The character, unveiled in a March 18th viral promo clip, was depicted as a man who weaponizes kindness while secretly being manipulative. Fans noticed the parallel almost immediately, linking it to Ryan's interviews on Jimmy Kimmel Live and Hot Ones, where he made remarks that appeared to subtly mock Baldwin's reputation as Hollywood's nicest guy.
Never did any promo for It Ends With Us. She never posted about it. Her and Blake haven't been seen together, I think, since October 2023. That's the last time there was a picture of them together.
But the situation extends beyond subtle jabs. An April 22nd video game tie-in for the Deadpool marketing campaign allegedly includes a side mission featuring a character resembling Baldoni, paired with a storyline satirizing fake male feminists. The game was co-produced by Marvel Games and Electronic Arts, with Ryan serving as an executive consultant on the script.
Already back then knew that Blake was using her name in the promotion without.
This raises potential right of publicity issues. Under California Civil Code Section 3344, using someone's name, likeness, or persona for commercial gain without consent can create liability, even if framed as satire. Legal analyst Dana Spiegelman noted on CNN Legal Hour on May 5th that while parody is protected under the First Amendment, that protection vanishes if the intent is to commercially exploit or defame someone. In this case, Ryan Reynolds' involvement in both the film and game, combined with the clear similarities fans have highlighted, could leave him on precarious legal ground.
Knows legal stuff, I'm sure, and if she didn't allow Blake to use her name in the promotion, maybe she was already a bit pissed off back then.
What's even more puzzling is that Baldwin's legal team hasn't yet filed an official motion addressing this potential violation. As of May 14, 2025, no court documents specifically mention Nice Fool or the video game content, even as public interest grows. Legal analysts suggest Baldwin's team might be waiting for the right moment, potentially to leverage it during discovery or use it as ammunition if Blake's side escalates further.
It's just Hugh for you, pointing out that she was talking about Hugh Jackman. These other randoms crashed the photo and we were too polite to ask them to leave.
The judge overseeing the subpoena clash between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni isn't just any judge, and that's fueling unease. Judge David Lehman, who currently presides over the federal filings in Baldoni v. Lively, is, according to verified public records and campaign disclosures, the brother of Doug Liman, the Hollywood director known for The Bourne Identity, Edge of Tomorrow, and, notably, a 2008 political ad featuring Blake Lively.
This reporter was pointing out in the video he made about this, he said, Taylor Swift doesn't do anything for free. And I believe that as well. It wouldn't benefit her, like he said in this video as well, it wouldn't benefit her if she did this for free to help promote a movie for Disney.
The ad in question was produced for Move On, org's youth vote campaign during Barack Obama's first presidential run. It starred Blake Lively and her Gossip Girl co-star Penn Badgley, shot in the conversational cutaway style typical of viral PSAs at the time. The video aired across multiple platforms, including MTV, Comedy Central, and even during Gossip Girl commercial breaks. Though framed as a social campaign, the production was professionally managed, directed by Doug Liman, and supported by a Hollywood-caliber team. This wasn't a minor cameo. It was a polished, widely distributed ad that placed Blake directly within Lyman's creative sphere.
Directed a political advertisement for MoveOn.org's Youth Vote program, which featured Blake Lively alongside her then co-star Penn Badgley.
Now, fast forward to 2025. Doug's brother, Judge David Lehman, is the one handling legal requests involving subpoenas aimed at Taylor Swift, deciding whether her private communications should be admitted as evidence in a case where Blake is accused of witness tampering, destruction of evidence, and civil extortion. No formal recusal has been made, and there's no acknowledgement of Blake's prior work with Doug. Yet anyone familiar with legal ethics knows this isn't a minor detail. It's a potential red flag. So far, neither Baldwin's nor Taylor's legal teams have objected, but insiders suggest they're watching closely. If Judge Lehman makes a critical ruling, quashing or approving the subpoena that could bring Taylor into court, this previously overlooked connection could erupt into a much larger issue. So what do you think? Does this still look like justice, or just another Hollywood cover-up hiding in plain sight?